Cain and Abel, a brief overview by Daniel. What is Cain and Abel? That really depends on who you ask. It can be a tool both for hacking and for security professionals. You can use it to invade another system or audit your own systems to look for security holes. It's actually many tools in one. It contains a password cracker, a network sniffer and monitor, and an ARP poisoning tool, which is the most unique feature of Cain. That is designed for a man-in-the-middle attack, which I'll talk more about in a minute. It can hack a wired network, or when combined with AirPCAP, it can actually hack wireless accounts as well. In addition to these tools, it also contains traceroute and other more mundane networking tools. So where do you get Cain? You get it at www.oxid.it. That's oxid.it/cain.html. And it is completely free and open source. A few notes. Some firewalls may detect this when you install it on your own system. That's generally the only time you'll ever see an error. When you run this program, it doesn't matter if your firewall is running and the firewall is running on the computer you're attacking. It will go completely under the radar, which is what makes it such a powerful tool. It's often combined with other tools to get even more power out of this system. The first tool I want to show you is ARP poisoning, or APR poisoning. That stands for ARP poisoned routing. ARP is the tool, the network protocol, that maps your IP addresses to your MAC addresses. Your IP addresses is the things you see all the time, like 192.168.0.2. It's an address that is assigned by your network, and it can basically be anything you want it to be. The MAC address is an actual physical address that is usually encoded into the individual pieces of hardware. What ARP poisoning does is it alters the ARP table on your system and tells all the other computers on the network that your MAC address is the router. So all network traffic will flow through your local machine instead of flowing through the router. This is known as a man-in-the-middle attack. What makes Cain especially powerful is the sniffer actually sorts all this information and tries to find passwords and other useful bits of info that you might want to take a look at. Let me show you how it works. After you've downloaded, you can run Cain. Be sure to run it as administrator so that you will have access to all the network utilities. I'm going to show you the ARP poisoning, so click the sniffer tab at the top. The first thing you need to do is click Configure and choose the network adapter on your system that is currently being used to access the internet. After you've done that, click OK. Click the sniffer tab at the top and then the APR tab at the bottom. Click in the top window and click the blue plus sign. You're now presented with a list of IP addresses on your network. You want to start by clicking the router's address on the left side. That's usually the one that has .0.1 or something like that. You can actually get a list of all the default router addresses online. After you've done that, you'll be presented with a list of connected devices on the right side. These are the ones we can poison, so we'll go ahead and select all of those just by dragging, then click OK. Now you can click this little yellow button at the top to start poisoning those computers. Now, if the network is busy, you'll immediately see traffic begin to flow across the system. As you can see, all of these things popping up down here are where individual systems on two different computers are accessing the internet. If I did a whois search on each of these IP addresses, I could see what website they were going to. But I'm more interested in finding passwords right now. So you come down to the bottom and click the Passwords tab, and you'll see a number of different choices. Click the FTP tab, and you'll be presented with any FTP passwords that have been sent over the network. All this information is sent in plain text, so it's really easy for Cain to grab. If I click on HTTP, which is basically the bulk of the internet, you can see any passwords that have gone over that protocol. Now this is not as useful as it used to be because many of those sites are now encrypted. So all you get is large hashed files like this one right here, 5VUPG, OWTF, and so on. That is not something that has been tapped in, that's actually a hash. Other places to look are the POP3 tab, which gives you email passwords, which are also sent in plain text. That's not the webmail accounts. That would actually be something like Outlook on your system. I'm not going to click on that one because I really don't want you to see all of my passwords. Now let's look at what else Cain can do. Cain is also great for password cracking. It can get the local hashes off of the system that you're working on, but you actually have to have physical access for that. Or it can get hashes out of the Active Directory, which are sent over the network, which is much more useful for a hacker. It will crack most Windows, Linux, and Unix hashes, and it can crack via word list, brute force, or even cryptanalysis. It does come with a pretty robust password list, 300,000 words, but in the world of password cracking, that's actually fairly small, so you might want to download some additional password lists. One good place to get password lists is openwall.net. You can go to passwords.openwall.net/wordlists. If you scroll down to the bottom, there's actually a number of password lists you can get in about every language you can think of, even Swahili and Yiddish. But English is going to be the most useful. Another place to go is outpost9.com/files/wordlist.html. This one has a lot of smaller word lists, such as a computer jargon or a list of first names. Back in Cain, you need to click on the Cracker tab at the top. Click on the white window, then click the blue plus. Now, I don't have any Active Directory set up on this network, so I'm going to import the hashes from the local system. And let's see if we can crack a few of them. I'm going to click on Murdoch's user account, right-click, Dictionary Attack, NTLM hash. Now when you first start Cain, this dictionary list window at the top will be blank, like this. You'll have to right-click on it, click Add to List, and then surf to any address on your system where you have your word list stored. Now let's see if we can get Murdoch's password. Okay, I got it. Murdoch's password is Rupert31. Took about 1 second. After you're done, you want to right-click on any word list that has a number beside it and click Reset to Initial File Position. This way, when you start cracking again, it'll start at the beginning of the word list. Let's try one more. Elite Hacker account. I'm going to try a brute force attack on him. When you're doing a brute force, you get to choose your character set. The default is lowercase and letters, so let's go ahead and see if that can do it. For a 16 character password, that's going to take a few years, but hopefully his password's a little bit shorter than that. Okay, the elapsed time on that was about 10 seconds, and his password is LG6OPC. It's random, it's letters and numbers, but it's pretty short, so it's really not a good password. This concludes my brief overview of Cain and Abel.